Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 20 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. This is going to be our last day with Wolfe's Jolteon team that we've been playing with for the last couple of days, so you can learn more about the team in the description below. We reached Master Ball tier yesterday, so just excited to climb up and see what other teams we go up against. And to kick things off, we're going up against a really bulky looking team. Goodra, I actually think, is really tough to go up against because we don't have great physical damage with this team. And Goodra's special defense is kind of nuts. So I'm going to have to play around that. That being said, Jolteon looks quite nice here for the most part. Yeah, I like the idea of leading Jolteon. Jolteon plus Weezing is interesting because Weezing is actually pretty good against a lot of my opponent's Pokemon. We have a lot of options here. A part of me also wants to maybe go with the Perish Song route this game with Politoed, because my opponent's team is so bulky, so the goal is just to pick up 2 knockouts and then Perish Song. I think that's a maybe feasible game plan. There are a lot of fairies. Jolteon plus Arcanine is what I'm leaning towards right now, because I got Will-O-Wisp, I got Snarl. I think Weezing as a switch-in is valuable. Honestly, it's crazy because I really want to bring Dracovish, mainly because I can Dragon Rush into Goodra after its max ends, and I can also just get powerful Vicious Rens off. Ferrothorn is the easier choice though, I think. But I'm gonna bring Dracovish. I don't feel great about Ferrothorn into a matchup when there's a Goodra, which can have fire type attacks, and Marowak, an opposing Ferrothorn. Actually, opposing Ferrothorn would have been a reason to bring my own Ferrothorn, I guess, but we'll see. Either way, though, we're going to get into today's episode. Thank you, as always, for watching Road to Ranked. If you enjoy, please share your support by leaving a like in the video. I really appreciate it. And question of the day, I'm curious, out of all the things you've gone up against Series 6 thus far, what Pokemon or strategies are the most frustrating to play against? Let me know in the comments below. It's going to be Grimmsnarl and Lapras, which is interesting, because both of these are Pokemon that can, naturally set up screens. Honestly, the play I'm leaning towards is Lightning. Do you even stay in with Lapras here? Also, are you Policy? You could also switch into Marowak. Ugh, so many possibilities. If I'm my opponent, I play defensively, swap Lapras out into something in the back. I'm just really worried about weakness policy, and then you just KO Jolteon. Because what I'm leaning towards is max Lightning into Lapras and switch out into Weezing. I'm just going to go for it. Because the Weezing cancels the abilities, right? So Grimmsnarl can't go for something like a Light Screen or a Trick even before Lapras moves. Let's see. Okay, no switches. Could be a good thing or a bad thing. Depends on what item the Lapras has. I'm hoping it's Light Clay. But actually, I think the Grimmsnarl would carry the Clay, so I feel like Life Orb and Policy are both likely. But if I get the Lightning off as Lapras maxes, that would be great. If Lapras doesn't max and protects turn 1, I think that'd actually also be okay, but it is going to max. Here's the thing, I just don't have great damage output against Lapras if I don't go for this turn 1. Because if we actually knock out Lapras, I think we have a much better team advantage against their opponent. They also had a Goodra on this team, right? So I would think maybe Goodra is the Policy, but I can't say for sure. Either way, well, I guess Grimmsnarl might just naturally be faster than Lapras anyway. But they actually go for Fake Out. Okay, nice. Also, the Jolteon slot, which was surprising because I was considering Snarling there. Get a big Max Lightning off. Let's see. Are you Policy? That's just my big question here. If so, we're in trouble. Okay, it's not Policy. Nice. It is just Geyser, though. I wonder if Life Orb Geyser just one-shots us here. Oh, it targets the Arcanine slot. Perfect. Okay, nice. We are in a fantastic position then with that. Because now we can... It is Life Orb. Okay, yeah. So, max HP, max special defense Weezing comes up huge here. Another Lightning into Lapras is super safe, so I don't see any reason not to go for that and just Strange Steam into the Grimmsnarl. I could taunt the Grimmsnarl. My opponent could totally go for Max Guard, Light Screen with Grimmsnarl, but I don't really care about that at this point, to be honest. Plus, I think Grimmsnarl just is going to outspeed the Weezing anyway. Of course, I could Max Lightning into the Grimmsnarl slot, but I don't really like that. The Max Guard here is pretty telegraphed, but I feel okay. What's Grimmsnarl going to do to really protect my opponent here, right? At best, maybe set up one of the screens. We are faster than the Grimmsnarl, though, so maybe Taunt would have been better. but 60% of damage from Strange Theme, very nice. And it's just going to be Spirit Break, which I'm okay with. Like, you lower my special attack, but with Terrain being up, I still KO the Lapras, right? So, I'm just going to go for another Lightning plus Strange Theme here. The Fake Out into Jolteon was surprising. I was kind of expecting it to play the opposite way, where you Fake Out Arcanine, because Jolteon is likely going to max. But if you haven't played Series 6 very much, or, yeah, you might just not have been expecting Jolteon to max. Actually, just go for a max card, which I can respect, but to be honest, I don't think it would have really saved my opponent, because even if you get that, I will just be able to Volt Switch to KO you next turn anyway. Yeah. I mean, they were going to go for, you know, just another Spirit Break and another special attack drop, but this is the beauty of Weezing, right? I don't have to worry about a Marowak switch in. If Marowak switches in, it actually just faints. Do we Speed Tie? Wow. Weezing and Grimmsnarl Speed Tie. I guess that shouldn't be super surprising, because you're not going to run Speed Investment on either, right? Interesting. Okay, not bad. Yeah, I mean, we're in a great spot right now. We're up 4-2, no screens, one up from my opponent. I've got Scarf Dracovish in the back as well as Arcanine. So, things are looking good. There's Urshifu. Now, Urshifu can Sucker Punch, so I have to respect that. And there's Ferrothorn. Okay. I was, playing for fun earlier, and let me tell you, Choice Band Urshifu does so much freaking damage. Yeah, we have Arcanine and Fish in the back. So Arcanine obviously beats the Ferrothorn. We haven't locked this up yet. We actually have to be careful. What Urshifu are you? You're dark. Actually, I think I was gonna double protect, but you could be Iron Defense Ferrothorn. I'm doubling up onto Urshifu here, but if Urshifu protects, that'd be a great play. Okay, it doesn't protect. Yeah, that should win us the game then. Well, maybe not necessarily, actually, if Wicked Blow just KOs us, which probably does. I think I have to go out into Dracovish, actually, because if you Wicked Blow into the Jolteon slot, you're banned and you crit the Arcanine. I just lost my best win con against the Ferrothorn. Presumably you're targeting the Weezing here, but let's see. That looked like Assault Vest, actually. Yeah, it goes into Dracovish, okay. So as long as we don't miss the Steam, this should be game over. Yeah. Even if you're Iron Defense Body Press, like, I can just go out into Arcanine Will-O-Wisp. Actually, I can taunt the Pharaoh. Yeah, this is, like, taunt on Weezing is so good. It is Gyro Ball, though. Okay. It's been a minute since I've seen Gyro Ball. Although, obviously, this Ferrothorn is it as well, but I'm just so used to playing against the Iron Defense Body Press sets. Okay, perfect. Yeah, because now we can just go out into Arcanine. Rain is up as well. I'm curious how much Rain-boosted Vicious Ren does to Pharaoh here. I'm thinking, like, 40, 50-ish, but maybe more. Given that it's Gyro Ball and it didn't go for an Iron Defense here, though, I think, yeah, we should just be good to Vicious Ren and Flare Blitz. I mean, I could Will-O-Wisp, but why risk missing, right? Just go for as much damage as possible. I think Pharaoh probably protects here. But then you're also stalling out Rain. It doesn't go for a Protect. Alright, let's see how much Vicious Ren does in the Rain. More than I expected, actually. Around like 60-ish. See if you're Akaberry. If not, Flare Blitz. I think KO's here, even with the Rain being up. Nice. Okay. So this game was really won off Jolteon alone being able to do that much damage to Lapras, and that's why Jolteon's actually a really solid meta pick right now, because there's a lot of Laprases, Primarinas, and bulky Water-type Pokemon in general. So, Jolteon allows you to have a pretty good answer against a lot of the bulky Waters. You're able to hit for a lot of damage before they can move, and it's really essential because there aren't that many Pokemon. Like, this team has two answers against bulky Waters, right? It's both Ferrothorn and the Jolteon, but I didn't feel great about bringing Ferrothorn into this matchup because my opponent had the Marowak. Marowak is just really, really scary. Even if I get baited into maxing Ferrothorn, Marowak can just come in and just dunk on me with like a Flare Blitz or a Max Flare anyway. So, yeah. Well, so we find our next opponent right away, so let's just get right into things. But either way, pretty straightforward match, I would say. Cobalion, Leafeon, Weavile, Coalossal. Okay, so there's obviously a bunch of different setups here. I think like it's going to be regular Leafeon most of the time, and you like set up the Sun with like Max Flare. So Weezing is obviously so essential in a matchup like this, but I think there was that one match we had against Cobalion the other day where my opponent played so well. and like baited me into, like, they basically wasted my max completely. So Jolteon Dracovish is normally a pretty good lead here. Like, I could just go with the standard, which is Jolteon Dracovish, Ferrothorn, Weezing. We bring Weezing because it's just fail-safe against all the, you know, strategies that my opponent wants to set up with that team. Arcanine could actually have a lot of value in this matchup because you can burn the Cobalion and the Leafeon and also Snarl, but you're going to be faster anyway. The thing to really watch out for in this matchup is Cobalion maybe getting a max Airstream off, because if you Airstream, you outspeed the Jolteon in subsequent turns. So what we want to, one, deny is the beat-up policy strats. Sorry, beat-up, not policy, just beat-up strats. And the second thing we want to potentially be careful for is like a late-game Cobalion, like Knuckle into Airstream kind of game. Cobalion Arcanine. Okay. It's not bad at all, actually. Here's what's interesting. Do you just max Cobalion turn 1? Like, do you switch out into because here's one play you can make if you're my opponent. You can switch Cobalion out into Gastrodon and attack with Arcanine. Alternatively, you could swap Arcanine out. And like I said, I'm worried about the Airstream here from the Cobalion. I feel like Gastrodon definitely comes in one of those two slots right now. So the play I'm leaning towards, I guess Arcanine's never staying in here though, right? You could in Snarl, like I said. Like, I really want to Fishious Rend Arcanine and switch out into a Weezing right now. But then I cancel out my own. I don't know if Fishious Rend one-shots Arcanine after the Intimidate. I don't think it does, so I actually don't think this was a great play. I think it would have been better for us to just have attacked. You know what we should have done, actually? We should have maxed Jolteon and Phantasmed. What I wanted. Yeah, well, we'll see. Neither switch, actually. Wow. So the play I was thinking of is actually now Phantasm, Fishious Rend. I mean, if anything, though, we did get the Cobalion to commit the Dynamax early on, which is never a bad thing, because it's not going to get fully set up this game. So we can have a late-game Jolteon now. Arcanine protected. Yeah, if I Phantasm Fishes ran into Cobalion, we win, most likely, just off, like... I mean, they're probably Airstreaming, though, I would think. So let's see. Yeah, nice play. Into Dracovish. But that does not do a lot of damage, actually. That's the problem with Cobalion. It is not exactly a very strong option if it doesn't get the beat up off. So it's not terrible, but, like, obviously still not great. I think you probably Will-O-Wisp now into the Dracovish slot and Steel Spike into Weezing. So, like, I want to switch Weezing out into Ferrothorn. Or I could just protect this turn, I guess. Yeah, you're an outspeed now. That was a great turn 1 play on my opponent's side. It was pretty safe too, but like, yeah, if I actually Phantasm and go for the big boy play there, it would have been huge, but didn't go for it. I'm gonna play it safe here though, because I still feel like we can win with Jolteon, a late game Jolteon. Because like Max Lightning will just like really destroy everything. Yep, there's Steel Spike. Yep. Okay, so we switch Weezing out into Pharaoh next turn, I think. Switch Weezing out into Pharaoh. That burns all 3 turns of Dynamax on my opponent's end. If we KO'd the Arcanine, then... Oh, they're going to miss Will-O-Wisp, unfortunately. That's a huge miss. Fishious Rend does so little because they're faster already. Actually, yeah, I mean, it's a big miss because now it means they're forced to Will-O-Wisp again the subsequent turn, right? I could double switch here, but I think conserving Jolteon is really important, so I don't want to. I don't know. Is there value in conserving Dracovish? Fishious Rend next to does a lot, but we'd have to pick up knockouts on both Pokemon. I just don't want Jolteon to take any damage because that's like our main win condition. So I don't even want it to get burnt. I kind of need to get it in safely though, don't I? Yeah, I'm gonna double switch here. This is I think the Arcanine Cobalion lead was really nice on my opponent's end, and I don't regret fishing for the Gastro switching, because I think so often you are going to switch one of those two Pokemon into Gastrodon. And I think my opponent just made the better play because they had a slightly better lead. I mean, the lead actually looked pretty good, I guess. But I really like that. Like, the Airstream play is safe because I'm never knocking out the Cobalion anyway, even if I get the Phantasm, you know. Okay, so there's Steel Spike. Okay, and a Ferrothorn. Yeah, Ferro eats that. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Presumably a Will-O-Wisp into Jolteon. That's what I'm guessing. So now it's like, we really just want to knock out the... Yeah, there's Will-O-Wisp. Okay. Well, they went for the most obvious play, and it works out because they didn't go for any reads. Jolteon obviously takes Chip now, but it's still okay. Like, a Flare Blitz would have been a lot worse there. So we've effectively stalled out Dynamax, which is really important. Now, I think this next turn, Arcanine probably protects. It could Snarl as well. I think that's an option I have to consider. +2 defense, +1 speed. See, now the thing is I have to worry about the Gastrodon switch in, which I hate. Yeah. I really don't like it. I would switch Arcanine out into Gastrodon personally to conserve, to beat the Ferrothorn, but I don't know. They could also protect Arcanine, switch Cobalion out into Gastrodon. That's a possibility. But I'm going to target Arcanine. And go out into Weezing. Ah! Oh, it's Coalossal, though. Okay. That's fine then, actually, I think. Huh, I didn't expect Coalossal. I mean, it's still frustrating, though, because I kind of need damage on the Cobalion, right? This also means that they have 2 Fire-type Pokemon. So, Pharaoh's looking a little rough right now. Wondering if you just close combat directly into Jolteon. That would do a lot of damage. Let's see. If you close combat, though, Max... Oh, they bounce! That would have been a really cool option, but I think that actually completely screws my opponent over now because I didn't target that slot. So that... Did they not have Gastrodon then? Like, it played out like they didn't. Because if you have Gastro, I feel like you switch in Gastro and bounce, and that wastes 1 turn of Max immediately. But now it's a free Max Lightning into the Cobalion slot. So that was actually like the best case scenario. I thought Gastrodon was definitely switching in here. So I can just go for a Max Lightning and a Strange Steam onto the Cobalion slot. Ideally pick up the knockout onto that, and now Jolteon outspeeds my opponent's entire team. And actually went into the Jolteon slot too. So yeah, it was a defensive bounce, which is a really cool idea. But without a Gastro switch in, I don't know. Doesn't end up doing too much. Okay, Cobalion survives. Does this survive the Strange Steam as well? That could be a problem. Let's see. I think it might. I think it might. No, it gets knocked out. Okay. That should actually be game, I think, because at this point we just have too much damage with Jolteon. Like, that's how we needed to play it, but the bounce was almost so cool. Because I think if you have Gastro, then you can bring in Gastro, and you don't take any damage. And then I'm in a much worse spot. So I'm guessing then they didn't even bring Gastrodon. Yeah, it was Weavile. Very interesting. Okay. So with Weavile now, it's actually a very safe play to just Lightning into Coalossal. That should knock it out through Protect and just... I actually don't want to miss, so I'm just going to Sludge Bomb into Weavile. Because Weaviles are going to have Focus Sash most of the time anyway. Yeah. So, might as well just break its Sash this first time around. We even have a Poison chance. And so this entire time, they didn't even have Gastrodon, which is hilarious. Because, you know, I made that play turn 1 expecting the Gastrodon. Which I feel like is like a fair assumption to make. My opponent just like big brained me and didn't even bring it. Jolteon will actually faint because we get crit on that last one. Okay. But I think at this point, actually, there's no way to beat the Weezing if you're my opponent. Plus, I have Scarf Dracovish in the back, right? So the combination of those should seal this up. Which is why I don't want to, you know, risk missing here. If I Sludge Bomb, then the Weavile is just in KO range from a Fishious Rend at this point. So, yeah. This is why that miss earlier could have been a big deal, though. Like... No, well, if I didn't get the miss, I probably... I mean, they also needed the crit there, I think, to maybe knock out the Jolteon. Maybe we would have fainted from Burn. And I think even with Burn, maybe we were fine anyway. Yeah, because now I can just go Vicious Rend into Weavile, switch Weezing out. Oh, wait. I forgot. Weavile outspeeds Scarf Dracovish. Forgot about that. But I think it's still fine, because I can just Vicious Rend into Arcanine and just Strange Steam into the Weavile. It is scary now, because I could miss Strange Steam. Arcanine protects, which I'd actually rather see. Unless the Weavile is actually targeting Weezing here, which would be a really nice play. But yeah, they go for Dracovish. Yeah, that doesn't come close to a KO. Oh, actually, I keep forgetting about the third proc off Triple Axle doing more. But I think this is still fine. Yeah, like, they didn't need to protect the Arcanine there, because Strange Steam here should pick up the knockout. Yeah, now it's a 1v1. It might have been smart. Okay, so I was going to say it might have been smarter to switch out there, but what I was worried about was you Triple Axle into the Weezing and you Flare Blitz it. Like, you read into my switch there, basically. I think we should be good here, because we have infinite recovery. We're not infinite, but we have recovery with Weezing. Yeah, so I'm just going to Sludge Bomb knockoff here. I don't know what fire type attack the Arcanine has. It's actually Heat Wave, and they miss the Weezing. Can Ferro survive this with AV? Okay, yeah. So actually the RNG didn't end up mattering at all, because the Dracovish ended up fainting anyway. Plus, yeah, knockoff was just going to knock out Arcanine here. Or not knock out, but we're one attack away. Yeah, this was a really interesting match, though. I think, if anything, it highlights how weak Cobalion is if you don't get the beat up off. It's a strong option, but it never does enough damage to actually pick up knockouts, which is part of the problem. Yeah, I mean, if my opponent connected with the Heat Wave last turn, I would have just... Oh, we didn't even need to protect. That being said, like, one thing you always have to consider is any RNG can always, like, tilt your opponent a little bit and make them play less optimally afterwards, so... even if it like didn't affect the outcome of the match in terms of like what's being knocked out and what's not, it could also affect your opponent's mental state. So we definitely, you know, we're quite fortunate with that Will-O-Wisp on Dracovish earlier on. That bounce play was really cool. I really liked it. And I think if my opponent brought Gastrodon in this game, it would have been a lot harder. Because, yeah, you would have burnt, you know, turn to max. And then it would have been whether or not like Ferrothorn could have closed it out for us, I think. But that was a very, very interesting match. And I don't know, the Series 6 teams we're going up against are just... super neat. We've definitely had some good fortune as one. I really like how my opponent played that as well. Okay. By the way, guys, sometimes I record kind of late at night. Like, I think right now it is past 10 o'clock. And sometimes the crickets get kind of loud, so if you can hear them in the background, I do apologize. I'll try to record earlier in the day, but I normally record after the workday is over, and I want to finish all my work before I start recording. So, apologies if you can hear the crickets in the back sometimes. Let's see. I think here I want to go with Jolteon. They don't have a single electric resist, right? So that's pretty good. It's a clear Trick Room, but they don't have oh, they do have redirection actually with the Volcarona. So they could go Volcarona and Hat, or Volcarona plus Dusclops. And the problem is that normally I would say, hey, I could just Scarf Rock Slide you and then attack with Jolteon, but I can't. I can't really. However, Max Ferro looks really good here if I KO. Also, Weezing can taunt. I'm actually going to lead, I think, Dracovish Weezing. Because I can just Rock Slide taunt turn 1. I want Ferrothorn in the back. And do I really not bring Jolteon in this match? It's just like, I think Trick Room is definitely going to go up. But if I can deny Trick Room with this lead, actually, then I can bring Jolteon, I think. I think Arcanine could make a lot of sense for Will-O-Wisp, because, like, Weezing cancels out potential Guts, so I can just burn Conkeldurr. Politoed would make sense for a Perish Song endgame, but I feel like I'm not good enough with the Politoed right now to actually, like, bring it in all the right situations. So, let's see. Okay, it is Volcarona Dusclops. Okay, so the big question here is, are you sashed on Volk? I would think so, which is the problem. But if you're not sashed... This is a free Rock Slide taunt, and even if you're sashed, what do you do next turn if you're my opponent? You're in a kind of an awkward spot, so... Yeah, if you're not sashed, I think we're in such a good spot in this game. Like, such a good spot. So there's Rage Powder. Let's hope we don't miss Rock Slide first. That's the important thing. Okay, Rock Slide hits. We also have a flinch chance, by the way, now, too, which is nice. It is sashed, though. Yeah. Okay, I want to regret this lead, because, like, leading Jolteon wouldn't have given us any more mileage, right? And Weezing is actually pretty good against most of my opponent's team. But we flinched Dusclops! Oh. We definitely have had some good fortune today. I mean, now I can just Rock Slide Taunt the Dusclops. Honestly, if Trick Room went up there, I actually don't think it would have been the end of the world, because Weezing outspeeds Volcarona under Trick Room. You effectively waste your first turn of max. My opponent's team doesn't have that much that can beat Weezing. They would need the hat, but then I have Pharaoh in the back. But I think now we're in a really good spot. I could have maxed Dracovish there to ensure that I don't miss Rock Slide. But they're actually going to switch Dusclops out. Okay. So we get a free taunt. And the cool thing here that you see is we cancel Magic Bounce, so we actually get the taunt off. Yeah, nah, I mean, we're just in such a good spot. That's obvious. That's like a game-winning flinch turn 1. But there was no other play as we get a crit as well. I feel like all the luck is just in our favor today. There's like no reason to not go for Rock. I'm never going to go for any other play there, right? Like that was my game plan coming into it, and I was like, I have the added bonus of flinching potentially. So I think like if Trick Room went up there, it makes the game more interesting, right? Because then the subsequent turn, Volcarona doesn't do anything, so you essentially waste the turn of max. So we taunted the hat. Now we can taunt Dusclops. I think we switch out into... We haven't won this yet, actually, because they could ally switch and max Psychic into Weezing. We go on in a Pharaoh here, though, I think for sure. And taunt. Do we go on in a Pharaoh, actually? Because if I go on a Jolteon and you KO the Weezing, I just get a free switch into Dracovish. Yeah, I think that's fine. Taunt's so obvious, but if they don't have ally switch, it's still my best play. If they have ally switch, things get more interesting. So, actually, yeah, I thought like this was over immediately, but the Hatterene's actually very good offensively against what we have, so it's not over yet. They switch Dusclops out, which is a nice play. It's Corviknight, though, so this is all Jolteon bait right now. Oh, interesting. They didn't max hat. They just dazzled. Okay, I'll take that. I think that honestly wins us the game. Let's see, Pharaoh on the back. Yeah, I'm just gonna max Lightning now in a Corviknight, I think, and Sludge Bomb into Hatterene. Actually, maybe I want to Volt Switch? Or even max Phantasm Hat? Yeah, actually, I like the idea of Phantasming Hat, because it's taunted. Yeah. So it's a guaranteed KO onto that slot. Corviknight switches. Nice. Yeah. I feel like there's no way you want to stay in with Corviknight, but I was thinking you could max it in Airstream, which would be really interesting, but then I don't even think you outspeed Jolteon afterwards. I just really think my opponent needed to max that last turn with Hatterene to have a shot. I get the Dazzling, though. The idea was to just KO Dracovish, but you should know that I'm Choice Scarfed, so I think the priority should be onto the Weezing and not the Dracovish. Okay, so Jolteon maxes. We've taken a lot of damage, but that doesn't really matter at this point. No max on Hatterene, which is really interesting. But this should be a KO then. Yep. So now I can just go for Lightning and Taunt this next turn. Once again, though, that flinch is turn 1 is absolutely huge because it ended up being Sash Volcarona. So I do want to quickly take a look at what I have on this team and if there was any way, like whether, because I do think Dracovish Weezing is the best lead against what my opponent had. I don't think Jolteon's the right answer if I'm expecting the Rage Powder Volk. So what else could I have brought? Let's see. I'm not leading Pharaoh there. Arcanine can't, I mean, I have Goggles, but that doesn't accomplish anything. Yeah, I think we went with our best lead. Wish we could have played it out and, you know, see what it would look like if, you know, we didn't get that turn 1. I think I'm just going to taunt Dusclops now and Lightning into Corviknight. Yeah, this allows the Dracovish to come in and click Vicious Rend. Even if you go for Ally Switch here, there's not really much you can do. Corviknight will survive the Max Lightning, but it does enough damage where Vicious Rend should just KO. Actually, if you Ally Switch here, things get interesting. Because then I don't get damage on a Corviknight, but then you shouldn't KO Jolteon either, I don't think. Unless you have... they don't Ally Switch. Okay, we're good. Yeah, I felt like if they had Ally Switch, they would have gone for it earlier. Wow, Corviknight actually took more than expected. Almost a one-hit KO there. So that should seal it up now with Taunt going on to Dusclops. That is one of the downsides of using like a hard Trick Room team. You commit so much to getting Trick Room up. Oh, actually, does this KO? Wait a second. They get Trick Room up now. No, I think it's fine. We have Ferrothorn. It should be fine. Gotta get the Frisk off. That was cool. Nice play. Yeah. I don't know why I wasn't thinking that, like, that was a possibility. But Ferrothorn just should win this anyway at this point. Let's see. I think we just... I mean, Body Press should KO Corviknight, I'm pretty sure. So we just Lightning and Body Press into that slot. Oh, actually, the reason to not Lightning is... Sorry, I still have to consider Ally Switch. I'm going to Knock Off instead. It has a defense boost, but I'm pretty sure Knock Off KOs with max attack from Ferrothorn here. Yeah, that was a nice play. I mean, that was my opponent's only play. Actually, no. They could. You can't max guard Trick Room. You have to go for that, I think. Yeah, Knock Off. Okay, yeah, we're fine. If Corviknight survived with a little bit more HP, this could have been a little scarier, especially if it has, like, max Knuckle, but alas, it did not. It was Lumberry. That makes sense. And Pain Split actually goes out, but fails. Interesting. I wonder if Max Lightning KOs with Terrain Up and Life Orb. Man, Dusclops is so bulky. That's just so bulky. But, yeah. Well, this is why I wanted Ferrothorn, right? It was really good against my opponent's entire team. Honestly, if they did not have a Fire-type attack on Hatterene, Ferro was going to 3v1 at this point anyway. Presumably has a Fire-type attack. I just don't get... I don't think you can run it without a Fire-type attack. But... undoubtedly, we got pretty lucky in today's games. So we take those, and, anytime... RNG is always going to be a component in Pokemon, so it's just really important to, look at the RNG and say, did it matter or not? In that second game, like I said, it happened so early on, it definitely could have affected my opponent's, mentality. I think we were going to be fine anyway, based off, the situation in the late game, but of course, they might have altered their course of play if they hit that Will-O-Wisp. In this third game, I mean, that was just such a lucky flinch turn 1, but once again, I went for that play saying, okay, if you don't have Sash Volcarona, I kind of just win turn 1. If you have Sash Volk, then, you're still in kind of an awkward spot. You get Trick Room up, but then turn 2, you don't do any damage, so you essentially burn a turn of Trick Room, and then it's basically about Hatterene versus Ferrothorn. And yeah, it would have been tricky still, I think, and if there was Max Flare on the Hatterene, then it would have been a little bit tougher for us, and I assume it has Max Flare, so... I do think if Trick Room went up, that game would have looked very, very different. But, that's both the strength and the downside of a hard Trick Room team, where it's if you get it up, often you will just win. And if you don't get it up and, do get flinch turn 1 or get crit turn 1 where you don't get Trick Room up, it's really, really difficult. And Weezing's value is being able to taunt, all these Trick Room users, including Hatterene, which normally you can't taunt. But I think my opponent maybe could have maxed the Hatterene a little bit earlier in that last game to just knock out Weezing immediately and then try to bring out Dusclops to set out Trick Room. I think that was a possible win con for them still. But yeah, definitely get lucky with that flinch and not missing Rock Slides either. So yeah, we'll take our good fortune and yeah, hopefully that can continue in future episodes. But really fun teams from all my opponents today. So that's going to be it for this one. Thank you so much as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed and I'll see you all soon. All right, peace.